Did you guys see Gilbert Arenas on the Dame versus Kyrie? Market size matters. Gil just said if Damian Lillard played in a bigger market, we wouldn't even be having the Dame versus Kyrie debate. He says Kyrie, a three-time All NBA, Dame seven-time All NBA. That means Dame was a top three guard for 7 years. Does market size still determine how we rank
Yes,
players?
yes,
Still
100%. Yes,
determine?
yes, and it
You
forever
agree with
will.
Gilbert?
It will forever. You see it in other sports. It's not just ours, right? In football, in baseball, you see it. Like it does not matter. Market size will dictate a person's elevation, at least attention. To get that attention in a smaller market like a LeBron, maybe like a Kevin Durant, you have to be MVP so good that you jump like markets into like the international or into the main market because you're so talented. But if you're talking about players, if those are 10 players, if you're talking about players that are ranked 7, 8, 9 within that, right? Like if you're 7, 8, 9 quality of a player, your market matters. I wouldn't say it changes your money. I don't necessarily think it changes your money. Like if you go to New York, you're going to make more money than if you play in OKC. I don't think that is as big as people think. There's more opportunities. There's more. But if you're talking about Shea's not like if Shea was in, playing in Chicago, like he might make a percentage more, but he's making, $80 million a year. Now you combine that percentage, it's not, but he can make all of that in OKC. But does it from your attention? It forever will, forever.
I think one thing we're not taking into consideration is college basketball and where they go. Like you look at Cooper Flagg's popularity, yes, he's good, but if he had gone to a lower D1 school and not Duke, I think it would be very different, right? You look at, think about how good like Blake Griffin or Trae Young was, or like Anthony Davis. The difference between Trae Young and obviously Blake Griffin, they went to Oklahoma. They were number one picks, but then, or not number one, but Blake was. But then you look at like AD went to Kentucky. People are used to watching those better schools. When Damian Lillard came about, he not only went to a small school, he went to a smaller market. So some of these guys who aren't as good as the smaller market guys, they just happen to go to better colleges so people get more eyes on them. So like they're used to it. I was hearing about Kyrie from Grant Hill before he was even at Duke. He was telling everybody,
played
you
11
can watch
games.
this kid. Huh?
He only played a handful of games there.
And
Yeah,
do you
but
remember we
Kyrie was
lost?
also
Remember that
that
last
dude
game? I
at high
remember the last game. Shout out our guy Kyrie. That last game he played against Arizona. Bear down.
Oh, he lost that?
In their prime, who would be harder to build around, Dame or Kyrie?
Harder to build around?
Yeah.
Oh no,
Kyrie?
Kyrie. And no, Kyrie, we're not talking about an individual player's talent. Like talent you can get into who can do this, right? Dame Lillard, from a rookie, he won rookie of the year, as did Kyrie. But he became the focal point of a team, of a franchise that has had a tremendous amount of success that knows basketball, right? LaMarcus Aldridge, Brandon Roy, Clyde Drexler, Bill Walton. You go back and look at their history. They've had players that have carried their franchises for multiple years, and Dame Lillard was one of them, is why he was top 75, right? And that's why he was top 75 over a guy like Klay Thompson, who won 4 championships. And I believe Klay and I believe Dwight Howard, these are hubs of a team. They had him ranked over Dwight Howard, who went to the finals, right? Who was defensive player of the year, was the best big man in the league for 7 years. And I say that to say but he was a hub of a team that led a team to a final. Damian Lillard led a team with no other all-star. We're not talking about Hall of Famers. We're not talking about a young Jason Tatum, a LeBron. We're not talking about a Kevin Love. We're talking about Dame Lillard had never played with an all-star and took his team to the postseason in the Western Conference every single year. That's a weight of having that on your shoulders. And no one's saying that Kyrie couldn't, but Kyrie wasn't in that position, or when he was in that space, he didn't. So we can't. That's
He
where
just
it
he
just makes
just
it
never
tough.
he just Kyrie was just never a Batman on none of his teams. And that's not a knock to him. Dame was. Kyrie wasn't a Batman on none of his teams. Right? And when he was the Batman, Cleveland was drafting had the number one pick every single fucking year until Braun got there. Right? And that's just me keeping
Even
it
then,
real.
they had the number one pick. They just said,
Right, and like seriously, I think Kyrie is the most skilled player that I've ever seen, like skill wise. But I do think that Gilbert is on to something when he says this about Dame Dollar. And to Shannon's point, I think you brought up a good thing because the journey matters, right? How many years did Dame go to college? Right, like 3, 4,
3 or 4, yeah.
3 or 4, right? So he at a mid-major, he had to prove himself like way different than what
Weber State.
yeah, it was a different type of mindset. Like every single time he stepped on the floor, he had to fucking prove himself. With Kyrie as a youngster, 11 games played at Duke, already the number one pick come right on in. You got the keys to the franchise. With Dame, like, nah, give me this shit. Like, y'all go fucking respect me. Kyrie already had that respect coming out of Duke because of what he was as a McDonald's All-American and all this. Like, Dame didn't have that. He had to go take that shit, right? When he got to Portland, it was LaMarcus Aldridge team. All of a sudden, Dame Dollar in that Houston series, when he sent their ass home with that with Hard, when he sent Harden and the Dwight Howard home on that shot coming off the wing, right? Like, Dame came into this bitch on some, hey, yeah, like I'm here type shit.
Yeah,
And there's no
360-point games in the season. It was the biggest thing for them was that they were too good. They were too good for them to get a high draft pick. Like CJ McCollum was a high draft pick. So they were too good for them to get a high draft pick, but they were spending too much money but they weren't good enough to compete against Golden State and Houston, right? Remember, like those were the two teams that they kept running into. They kept losing to Golden State. Like Steph and Dame, and I'm not even disrespecting or trying to compare, but look at the surrounding cast that they had around each other, right? Even if you say Dame and Steph were to offset, and I feel like Portland, they had some bad losses. They lost to Denver with no Jamal Murray. I'm just saying they were too offensive of a team. They didn't play a great defense. But ultimately, if you look at the weight of carrying a team for 82 games every single year, there's 9 guys that do it in the world, a year, that says, get on my back. I'm going to carry you for 82 every year. There's 9 guys that do it. No matter what, we're going to be in the postseason. Starting with me, if you give me talent, we're going to get into the postseason, and I'm going to be the focal point for an entire season. How many guys do that? 8, 9? Jokic does it. Dame has done it. Luka. Who?
James Harden.
James Harden has done it. Bron, obviously, KD. Right? There's like different guys that are like, you just look at me for 82 games and I got you. And again, we're not talking about the talent around them. We're saying it's like, if you put that Brunson has done it the last couple years and proven that he's one of those ones. Tyrese Halliburton has done it. Like, put me here, put the talent around me, and I'll be the focal point. Like Shea.
I think
those
my
dudes are
biggest
different.
point is Kyrie is so talented. He's like, guys, give me the ball and then just play off me, right? He's always been this much more talented than everyone, where Dame Lillard's humility creates a different type of leadership. He's like, I know I can't, I know I'm going to be that dude, but I need you here. So that's why I said I would build around Dame, because Dame is going to say, hey, I'm the man, but you can come with me, where Kyrie's like, man, get behind me, and I got it. It's different, right? And like Dame's humility of like how he approaches the game is like, I've had to go through the trenches to get this. Not that Kyrie hasn't, but Kyrie came in and was like, yo, I'm the best player and I'm on my team and I'm 18.
And he was nice.
This
Kyrie
ain't
was
even my
awful.
team. I got to take this team. So that's the difference. And neither one is bad. And it just depends on what you have around them. The best version of Kyrie is when he is a moon orbiting your team. And you're going to, hey, Kyrie, you just do you. And when you're cooking, we're going to be great. Where Dame is the precipice, is the tip of the spear for us to go forward. It's just different.
Yeah.
I want to take a little pivot left with this just because I saw today, I don't know if you guys saw, T. Lou joined Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Shay, and he alluded to saying that Braun was crushed when Kyrie was traded from the Cavs. Do you guys remember like what you guys thought during that time? T. Lou said Braun was doing an autograph signing with jerseys for his foundation. He dropped the marker and just laid back in his chair for about 10 minutes, didn't say a word, like pissed off.
I was at the airport and T. Luke called me. And I was like, man, fuck. I was hot. And I'm like, who's chanting? But I was like, man, like, because here's the thing. People, and then another thing he said was, hey, we would have had a chance to win 2 or 3 more. 2 or 3 of the things that happened was, if KD doesn't go to the Warriors, Harrison Barnes is still on the team. Andrew Bogut got hurt his knee. Festus Ezeli got hurt, right? So they would have had to make some real big changes to their big men about what the part is. And also, we were adding more and more guys. Kyrie's maturity was starting to change, right? LeBron was figuring things out. Everyone was starting to get just a little bit better in that short window. Yeah, we were getting older, but we were, on the top of the mountain. And for 2 or 3 years, we would have been able to compete with those teams for a chip.
So I don't know the vibe. Obviously, the vibe was different when you guys were there because y'all won it all. When I was there, right, the first time they went to the NBA Finals and I was traded, waived, and then I signed with the Cavs, when David Black was the coach, Kyrie really wasn't fucking with everybody like that. Like, it was a lot going on. We keeping it a buck. Kyrie wasn't really fucking with the whole team concept like that. Like, I ain't see Kyrie at too many team dinners.
Yeah.
Just me keeping it. Like, he wasn't at a lot of team. And Kyrie
He'll tell you
actually
he wasn't.
was the crazy, huh?
He'll tell you he wasn't.
No, I know, but
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, Kyrie actually was my neighbor. He actually stayed across the. I stayed across the street from Kyrie during that stint, right? And I would see like it was Kyrie and Shump, like those two were tied to the hip, like since day one, right? And it was so I never really like Braun set that tone, that different type of tone. When I got there, I was like, oh shit. Like, far as his workouts, how he prepped for the game, when he gets into the weight room, probably after he already worked out at 5 a.m, and you fucking walk in and he on that fucking VersaClimber, that shit I fucking hate. That VersaClimber is a motherfucker, by the way. But Braun in there, and then all of a sudden you started to see others follow Braun. Like, Braun not the one that's going to invite you to a workout. But he's not going to close the door either. That door is open, but he's not going to
open the door to see who's going to come in.
Exactly. But he's not going to say, come on over here or come down here. Now, if you come in there, he like, let's get it.
Yes,
but
he's not, okay.
Yeah, but I never seen him and Kyrie actually. And I just remember at that one point when Kyrie hurt his leg in the NBA Finals, when we was in the NBA Finals that year, I remember when his dad walked in that motherfucking locker room and blew a gasket, like went fucking crazy. And I was just like, obviously we know about the letter, right, that Kyrie wrote to Dan Gilbert, and he was tired of it. But this was a young, kind of immature Kyrie that I'm pretty sure if he would have like wanted to change the hands of times and go back again, he probably would redo everything over and say, I'm tripping. But he idolized and looked up to Kobe so much that he actually wouldn't give Braun a chance to be like that big brother figure. Even when y'all won it. I wasn't there, but I'm just keeping it real. Kyrie never really looked at Braun as like that big brother. Kobe was that big brother to Kyrie. So like when he burned off, it wasn't surprising to me, although I wasn't there. I was like, damn, they tripping. They could have ran off a few more, but he was tired of being under the shadows. He just never, Bron could never really get that arm around Kyrie because Kyrie really didn't allow him to, in my opinion.